So have you ever just had that weird feeling? That feeling that your own brain isn't, entirely your own anymore? Well, here we are, it's 2026, and for a lot of us, AI isn't just some tool we use anymore. It's kind of become this invisible architect of our minds, quietly shaping what we see, what we think, and yet even how we feel from the second we wake up.
So let's just ask the question, right out loud. With this constant, seamless interaction with AI, what is it actually doing to the physical wiring of our brains? Are we getting smarter? Or is our biology, the very way we think, getting hijacked? Okay, let's really get into this.
All right, so here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we're going to look at what's called AI's dopamine trap, basically how it creates this kind of digital addiction. Then we'll see the fallout from that, the death of deep focus. After that, we'll get into something a little more subtle, how we're outsourcing our memory. But don't worry, we're not going to leave you hanging. We'll wrap up with the most important part, how you can start reclaiming your brain.
So let's start with that invisible hijack, the dopamine trap. This whole thing is about how these hyper-personalized algorithms are creating this incredibly powerful and frankly addictive feedback loop right inside our heads.
Okay, so this mechanism, it's really simple, but it is unbelievably powerful. By 2026, these algorithms, they know what makes you tick better than your best friend does. Every single time you click on that perfectly timed recommendation, your brain gets this tiny little hit of dopamine. That's the pleasure chemical. And that little reward reinforces the action, which makes you want another hit, and then another. We are literally, day by day, training our own minds to just chase constant, instant gratification.
And this right here, this is the fundamental shift. We've gone from actively searching for things we want to know to just passively being fed this perfectly curated stream of content. Now, the consequence of this is huge. This whole process, it just bypasses our prefrontal cortex. That's the smart, thoughtful CEO part of your brain. Instead, it lights up the more primitive, impulsive parts, the I want it now part.
All right, and all of that leads us directly into our second point, the death of deep focus. I like to call it the goldfish effect, and it's all about how our ability to just concentrate, to really think, is shrinking in this world of instant answers.
Take a good look at this number, 4 seconds. Yeah, a whole bunch of studies in early 2026 are pointing to the same scary conclusion. The average human attention span, especially when we're around our tech, has dropped to below 4 seconds. That's actually less than a goldfish. So why is this happening? Well, generative AI has just made everything a little too easy.
The reason this is happening really comes down to this core idea in brain science called neuroplasticity. So your brain is super efficient. It runs on a use it or lose it principle. So when we stop struggling to find answers, when we don't have to connect complicated ideas on our own anymore, the neural pathways for deep focus, they start to wither. Your brain it prunes them away because they're not getting used.
And this leads to a really critical result. We're all becoming skim readers of life. We're losing that mental muscle we need to dive deep into anything complex, whether it's science, art, or just trying to understand a tough new concept at work.
And you can probably guess where this is headed next, right? This leads us straight to our third major impact, outsourcing our memory. We are literally offloading our ability to remember things to technology. And that convenience, well, it comes with a pretty big price tag. It's creating what you could call an empty knowledge base.
There's actually a name for this whole thing, digital amnesia. Just think about it for a second. We all know that an AI can recall any fact, any date, any random detail instantly. So our brains have basically decided there's no need to waste energy committing that stuff to long-term memory. We're just outsourcing our intelligence to the cloud.
And here's the trade-off, laid out plain and simple. Sure, cloud intelligence gives us these amazing instant answers. But when we rely on it all the time, we stop building up our own internal knowledge base. And that internal base, that's what creates real understanding. That's what lets us think for ourselves. The challenge now, in 2026, isn't finding the answer. It's remembering how to even start thinking without an AI prompt to get the ball rolling. Okay, so I know that all sounds pretty intense, maybe even a little bleak, but is it too late? No way. Absolutely not. Your brain is incredibly adaptive. So let's get to the most important part, how to start reclaiming your brain by building what I like to call digital fortresses.
There are 3 simple but really powerful strategies you can start doing today. First, practice boredom. I'm serious. Just 10 minutes a day, no screens. Just let your mind wander. That's where creativity and original thoughts come from. Second, start rebuilding your focus.
Engage in deep reading. Grab a real, physical book or a long article online and just read. It's like a workout for those focus muscles in your brain. And third, use AI intentionally. Don't just let it be your default. Treat it like a super smart assistant that helps you think better, not as a replacement for your own brain.
Because at the end of the day, this isn't about being anti-technology. Not at all. It's about agency. It's about being in control. The real goal here is to master the algorithm before it masters you. It's about being in the driver's seat of your own mind.
Because honestly, the future is going to belong to the people who can still think deeply, who can still focus in a world that is designed from the ground up for distraction. The algorithm of your life, that should be written by you, not by a machine. So as we wrap this up, I'm just going to leave you with this one question to really think about. Who's writing yours?